want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football. If you want to be a winner, not only have to understand how to win, but to understand how to consistently win.
We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
That's our brand of football.
Jags, Jags. Chargers is too long to spell. 49ers, it's not too long to spell, it's too long to do a chant for. 49ers, and of course, my Super Bowl pick, the Houston Texans. If these four teams win, it would be an enjoyable playoff weekend. I can enjoy the rest of the playoffs. The final 3 weekends, I don't have anybody that I hate. I can just sit back, watch football, hate free. There's so much hate and anger in our Jet world that if the Patriots, Steelers, Bills, and Eagles all lose, your boy can enjoy the playoffs. Thank you for being here. Good afternoon, everybody. It's the Nick Shine Show. I am your host, Nick. We got a fun one. We're going to talk, obviously, the news with Simpson declaring, to talk about head coaches moving around the league. I'm going to take a look at the Jets free agents and who I think they will retain, not who I would retain, who I think they will retain and who they're going to let free. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, kick your feet up. We got a raffle going on, Super Bowl raffle, Super Bowl Sunday, Joe Namath raffle. I'm debating if I do multiple items to have multiple winners or one really big item. So still to be determined, but as always, I value your feedback. Please let your voice be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, turn the music up. Enjoy, rock out, stomp your feet, do the boogie woogie, whatever it is you do when you hear Blitz. Enjoy.
It's got
Gentry covering the football!
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his prime, it's Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined to get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click a family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky.
Who, me?
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
Fantastic indeed. Well done, Blitz, as always. Folks, I saw Eli ask the question, is that the parlay for the weekend? Here's the parlay. I don't trust the Rams coming across country. I'm going to take the Rams on the money line. I know it's 650, but I'm not laying 10.5 after what they just did in Atlanta after flying across country. I'm going to take the Bears money line because it pays better than them getting plus 1.5. I'm going to take the Jaguars money line, minus 106. I'm going to take the under in the Eagles 49ers game. The 49ers have not played well at the Eagles. That Eagles defense is on fire. They play very well. I'm going to take under 44.5 in that game. The Chargers Patriots. Now, we all know I'm going to be rooting very heavily for the Chargers, but I like the over. I think that both teams are going to be able to move the ball. I don't trust the Patriots defense against a winning team. So I'll take the over 46.5 there. And then I'm taking the Texans minus 3. Hopefully that'll move to a half a point because I hate just the 3. But I might move that up a little bit. I think that Texans defense, even though they don't play well in the cold, I think that Texans defense is going to give Aaron Rodgers fits. That front four pass rush is going to be nasty. So that's your Nick Shine picks and parlay for the weekend. Good luck to everybody. Gamble responsibly, all that stuff. And shout out to Peter Pins, who is my MVP, most valuable parlay person. MVPP. PP. All right. Now, thank you for being here. Here's what we got. We're going to take a look at the Jets free agents. So, right now, let me make that bigger. That's what she said. Ba, ba, ba. Forgive me if I don't see the chat right now because I'm making my computer full screen so I could see all this easier. Old man eyes. All right. We're going to start at the bottom and work our way up. Exclusive rights free agents, Jawan Briggs, which I believe as long as we offer him a qualifying offer, he remains with us. Done. Done. This guy was your best player on defense. There's no doubt that you bring him back, that you lock him up. You got him in a really good trade. You got him as a throw-in with a 6 for a 7 draft swap. Really good job by the front office. Really good job by the professional scouting department to go target this guy and really ransack the Browns with that acquisition. So that's a no-brainer. I think everyone agrees with that. Jawan Briggs, you are a New York Jet. Now, restricted free agents is where it gets interesting. Cam Jones, no thank you. Marcelino McCrary Ball. For the special teams purpose, yes, he'll be back. Don't forget, he was named captain for special teams. So McCrary Ball, I think they'll bring him back on a 1-year deal, get him back in the room, just tag him, do whatever you have to do as the restricted free agent, give him the qualifying offer, whatever it is. Bring him back, keep the special teams elite, and then you have some depth with a 4th or a 5th linebacker. I don't want to see him out on the field in starting situations as a linebacker. Maybe some spot duty here or there, but I want to see the talent overall in the linebacker room improve in 2026. But that special teams leader and a guy who was voted captain, sure, I can bring him back for his leadership skills and abilities. Mechie, also a restricted free agent. I think you do it. I think that you bring Mechie back as well. Another great value find here by Muji in free agency. He got, not free agency, in a trade. He got Mechie as a throw-in in the Michael Carter trade. And I think that when you look at the wide receiving core, I think we expect to have an addition. And you got Garrett coming back, and you got Mechie, and you got Mitchell, and you get better quarterback play, even Arian Smith. I think that'll be your top 5 going into next year. It's a lot of speed. It's how they want to build this passing attack. And I think Mechie will find a nice role. Granted, he had some drops. Granted, there was no consistency and cohesion with a quarterback because the turnover that happened at that position since he got here. So not a great read on him, but I think his skill set can be utilized in an offense going forward. And I would give a shot with him in a full year with what we all expect to be a better quarterback room. Now, starting from the bottom, Okorafor, no. Thank God he didn't really have to play this year. I think he came in for a couple snaps. But I'm good. You can move on from him. Jasir Taylor, same thing. Xavier Newman, he's been with the team for a couple years. He got a few snaps in this year at guard. And I think that in terms of depth and in terms of just not having to go out and find a new guy and not really put that investment into the depth of the offensive line yet, you can get him for cheap. And I think if you throw him a 1 or 2 year deal for very cheap, you can keep him in house. Chris Boyd, of course, with the tragedy he suffered, and I don't know if he'll be back. Max Mitchell. Here's an interesting one. Mitchell was their 6th offensive lineman. When we went into those power runs, when we would bring in an extra tackle, he was the guy coming in. I like that Mitchell didn't have to play, but in terms of depth, and you can't overhaul your entire depth in one offseason. So you're going to have to retain some of these players. I think Mitchell's another guy. Unless he goes out and gets an offer, great. but I don't think anyone's going to give him a big offer anywhere. I think you can actually wait Max Mitchell out a little bit and then settle and have him come home. But if he wants to go test the market, which any young guy should, feel free. But we'll see you back. Jay Tufele, defensive lineman, not a lot from him. And I'm one that you guys know want to build up this defensive line, want to put premium assets into the defensive end and defensive tackle position. If nobody else is interested, I can bring you back practice squad or future free agent. But I'm not going to be upset if Jay Tufele is not on the 2026 team, but I'm not going to guarantee that he deserves it. Jelani Woods, I expect the Jets to add another weapon at tight end. No reason for you to be here. Stone Smart, disappointing, right? When we saw the Green Bay Packers preseason game and he caught that screen pass and went 22 yards for the touchdown, I think we thought that this was a guy who would have a nice role and utilize his skill set, and it never came to fruition. So, same thing as Woods. I think you're gone. I think we're going to look to find somebody that fits this scheme more, whether in the draft or free agency. Andrew Beck is fullback. I kind of expect Jeremy Ruckert to take on that role next year. I would like to get another weapon at tight end. And what's the point of having Ruckert and Beck if they kind of can do the same thing? So I don't know if they're going to roll with Beck again, but if you have Ruckert, utilize Ruckert out of the backfield more and save a roster position. Tony Adams next. Isaiah Oliver. Yeah, Adams is gone. Adams was a mistake from day one. Isaiah Oliver. This is a guy who's got some value, but you don't want to see him play all the time. Very good special team guy. He's a third or fourth safety, but he's also your backup for the nickelback. When Brownlee went down, he was playing more. I would like to see an upgrade. I think in those fourth and fifth round picks, you can go find a speedy nickel guy. We found Michael Carter originally in the fifth. I think that you can find somebody to come in and play the position and be a depth piece to Brownlee and get a speedster because Brownlee's more physical. Get a speedster that can cover these guys on these drag routes underneath. When they go 3, 4 wide receivers deep, bring in a guy that can cover the drags and can really accelerate over the middle of the field. Doesn't have to be an outside corner guy, and you can really sit back and wait and pinpoint somebody to be an upgrade over Oliver. So I don't expect him to be back. Michael Clemens, it scares me how much Clemens improved because that scares me into thinking that they can continue coaching and improving with him. I would let him test the market, see if somebody takes him. But for me, I would just move on. I know that upsets Knobcraft, who has multiple Michael Clemens jerseys. Yes, I'm not trolling. He does have multiple Michael Clemens jerseys. But I think it's just time to move on and get a more impactful player. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds. If they decide they can wait a year with the 3 first-round picks and the top elite receivers coming out in 27 draft, I could see them maybe bringing back a Josh Reynolds to have a veteran voice in there with Garrett, Mitchell, Mechie, Arian Smith, and just dropping him down the depth chart, but being that veteran in the room. I'd have no issue with that. Here's where it gets interesting. Tyrod Taylor. If Taylor wants to remain in the NFL, I have no issue with giving him a 1-year deal. I think that in terms of character, in terms of knowledge, and in terms of teaching the rookie quarterback what it would be and what it takes to be a professional, this is a guy that I'm okay with. I know everyone's going to flip out about the injuries. Sure, you can go spend money and get a third veteran or a second veteran, but a third quarterback. But I think if Taylor wants to remain in the NFL, and when he was on the podcast with Ocho Cinco and Shannon Sharp, he said he still loves the preparation. He still loves doing it. I have no problem with him being a mentor. I don't want him playing, but I have no problem with him being in the room to mentor a young guy. I think he's a stand-up character, and there's a lot that goes into being a quarterback in the New York market and being a quarterback for the Jets. So having somebody like Taylor to help, who's very easygoing, calm demeanor, I think that would be a very good influence on the young quarterback going forward. We all know how much Sam Darnold spoke about Josh McCown and how influential he was. Let Unc Taylor do the same thing. Safety, Andre Cisco made some comments the other day that were interesting about how he wants to be one of the best safeties in the game and he's not where he thought he would be and wants to be winner. I think the writing's on the wall that he's gone. I don't think he has any interest in coming back, and I don't think the Jets will have any interest in him. Kick returner, Kene Nwangu. Yes, right? You have this elite special team group. You have him and Isaiah Williams, who's notably Isaiah Williams is under contract. I would bring Nwangu back. He's a good fourth running back. He's a good guy to have back there with Williams for returns. So, yes, I would bring him back without a doubt. Now, here's where it gets interesting. I think the next two guys on this list, with Vera Tucker and John Simpson, I think their decisions are married together. If you extend Simpson, you're not going to bring Vera Tucker because you have Titman at right guard. If you let Simpson go, or I'm sorry, if you decide you want to bring in Vera Tucker, who was also elected captain, but has not been able to play half of his 3 seasons in the NFL, I think it's a very risky decision to go with Vera Tucker. Talent wise, Vera Tucker is better than Simpson. Being able to play, Vera Tucker doesn't do it. So I think the Jets, and when you have a coach who could be in a career year and his job could be on the hot seat, I think you go with the known commodity, whether the unknown. And it's unknown if Vera Tucker can finish the season. We saw Simpson do it. Granted, he's a little bit of a penalty machine. You hope to clean those up. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they sign neither of these guys and they just get young and they use a second round pick on a lineman, or they move back, they use a third on a guard, go to the SEC, go to the Big Ten, get a guy who's just a mauler and bring him in. And that's where you do that for a guard. So if you want to save the money and you don't want to get into anywhere from a 10 to $15 million deal, which I think it would be to retain Simpson. I think AVT with his injuries, you probably get him for $8 million and then incentivize the contract with games played. Then yeah, there's so many options here, right? You can go draft, you can go free agent with another route, you can extend Simpson, you can give AVT a 1-year deal. I think this year was the 1-year deal for AVT. That's why they didn't extend him. They just let him play on the option that the previous regime picked up for the 5th year. He got injured, didn't make it. So next up, Quincy Williams. Complete and total liability in this scheme and in coverage. Gone are the days of Quincy as an all-pro. I think he will gladly look to go elsewhere, perhaps join his brother in Dallas, perhaps reunite with Saleh out in San Francisco. But I think Quincy just was not the Quincy that we had previously seen. And I think it's better for both sides if he disappears. Brees Hall. I think you tag him. I think you give him the transition tag, not the franchise tag. And when you give him the transition tag, other teams can then negotiate with him. And then you have the right of first refusal. If anyone gives him an offer sheet, you can just sign it and he remains a Jet. But if they take him, you get a draft pick compensation. So I think that's the best route to go with Brees. No one on this list is worth a franchise tag. I think Brees as a transition tag is the best idea. And it allows you to see what his value is elsewhere. And if you think it's too much, you get the compensation in return. So if nobody gives him that deal, then you have him and you can negotiate with him. But I don't think you flat out sign Brees and overpay him. I think Brees wants to know what his value is. And I'm kind of curious myself, too, what other teams think of Brees, seeing that he's been a Jet, seeing that they've been a disaster, and seeing if someone says, hey, this is a guy that we highly value. Okay, you value him enough to give us a 2? All right, enjoy Brees Hall. And we'll move on and have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds this year. So the way I'm looking at it, I'm sorry, 4 picks in the first 2 rounds. No, 5 because we have 2 twos. Forgive me. We'd have 3 twos then if you tag Brees with a second round tag. And you know what? Somebody like the Chiefs might do that. I think the Chiefs, whose offense has declined the last couple years, would be smart to bring in Brees Hall. Would be smart to go get a Tate or a Tyson in round 1 and just give Mahomes a lot of elite weapons. Because post Travis Kelsey, which I think all of us expect him to retire, you need a new identity there in Kansas City. And what's it going to be? So I think they're going to invest highly in putting some weapons around Mahomes to get back to that elite level. And that offense has fallen down, man. Like Mahomes is 23rd, 20th the last couple of years as a passer. So I would look for them to do everything they can to get him back on top. You know, that ACL injury, he should be back September, October, early October, the latest, if he's got any delays or setbacks. But go get him someone like Brees. Let Pacheco be your change of pace running back. You want to give us a 2 for him, which would be a top 10 in the second round. We would now have 5 of the top 44 picks. So, pipe dream, sure, potentially. But I think that that's the best route for the Jets. Transition tag, pay us if you like them, the draft pick, and we go from there. So that's just a little glimpse at what I think the New York Jets are going to do with their free agents to be. Now, granted, there's guys who can get cut, there's guys who can get released. But with our pending free agents, that's where Nick Shine is at. That's what I think. So I hope you guys enjoyed that quick little future take at what could happen. And I know the great Boomtown, as he mentioned earlier, I did see a message about that, how Nick Shine has turned around from Mitchell being a guy who you should cut. I did nail Gibson getting cut. It wasn't in the preseason. And I did have Clemens as another one. And my 3 were 3 Jets three guys who've been New York Jets who need to be cut. And it was Gibson, Mitchell, and Clemens. So I don't think any of those guys wowed this year. I think you could say that all of them maybe should have been cut. But if you're going to take Mitchell and use him as a depth piece, okay. Oh, that's a new feature on the phone. My phone is screening a call, that number that I don't have saved, and is asking the caller for their name and why they are calling. Interesting. Hmm, did not know. Look at that. New phone, new deal. All right. So I've missed out on the chat. Forgive me. I went full screen so I could see all the names clear because I'm an old man and my vision sucks. But folks, hit the like button. If you are here watching and you are not subscribed yet, and 32% of viewership is from non-subscribers on this channel. So please, if you would, and thank you to the person that did already, we're at 1972. We're trying to get to 2000. The goal has been to get to 2000 by the end of the season. The end of the season, of course, being the Super Bowl. So that would be great if you could help me get there. I would love that. Also, Super Bowl Sunday, our only Super Bowl winning quarterback, Joe Namath. We have a raffle going on. $5 super chats and up get you on the wheel. Gifted memberships also get you on the wheel. Programming note, Sunday night, 8 p.m. We're going to have Dylan Terman here with me. The following Sunday, we're going to have Jets Talk 24/7. Ryan will be with me. That's on the 18th. And then on the 25th, we're going to have young up-and-coming star Connor Long will be on the show. So game days are over. Looking to give you guys guests. I know Jets fans got beaten down by this year as well as content creators did. Not a lot of people want to go on and talk Sunday night, but the off season is here. It's our time to turn up. Jets fans, I hope that you enjoy all the programming that we have coming forward. And I need to play a video quickly. Here we go. It's the off season. Let's celebrate. Coffee is super hot. Super hot. Big fella with a question. My buddy, my twin. Who are we getting at DC? I'm tired of the Aaron Glenn sucks talk. While true, we need to look toward the future. I'm really concerned about this, to be honest with you, big fella. I'm really concerned because with how bad this year was, I think a lot of people can look at this and say that Glenn could be on the hot seat in year two. If you're a young up and coming assistant and you have the opportunity to be a defensive coordinator, you want to do it under a regime and a coach that you'll be able to be there for a couple of years. I don't know if that'll be the case here. I hope it is. I hope everything turns around. I hope the rookie quarterback is stellar. Boom, we go to the moon, baby. But realistically, there's a chance that Glenn could be fired after 1 year, which means that the staff would be wiped out as well. I don't know if we're going to get a young, innovative, up and comer. I think we're going to have to go with a retread that's not going to excite us because I think that's just going to be where we fall. I think that's just with the situation of the Jets. It's not like it's year one of a regime. Come on in with me. You can build this. I believe in you. We'll get the right players. Sure, you're going to sell that. Now, this is the name to keep an eye on. This is a guy who's bounced around the league. And this is a guy who could maybe do something good in year one. We don't have to hope. We kind of know you're going to play man. I don't know if we have man corners really. You're going to have to change that because you kind of brought in zone guys. I don't know if you have that man shutdown corner. Wink likes to play man. Wink likes to blitz. Wink likes to be like from the school of Rex Ryan. I'm okay with that. But I don't know if you have the defense to do that immediately in year one and be successful. Big fellow also wants Wink. I think Wink is a very viable candidate. I don't know if the ideology will mix up with what Aaron Glenn wants to do. And Wink's got a strong personality. I could see there being personality clashes between Glenn and Wink. But I'm very curious to see who the names are. We do have Harris, who called the defense the last couple games. He'll interview for the job, and I'm really, really curious who the Jets target. Are they open to different ideologies? Are they going to be tunnel vision on one type of coordinator, one type of scheme, and just interview all of those guys and say that Wink Martindale, man press, blitz, heavy pressure. Is everyone going to be like that because that's the ideology that they want? Are they going to mix it up? Say, all right, sell us on your zone, sell us on your man. What's your ideology? Are you hybrid? What are you going to run? 4-3, 3-4. What are we going to do here with you? Sell yourself to us. Or is it going to be Aaron Glenn saying, this is the type of scheme I want. These are the guys that fit that. These are the only ones that I want to interview. That'll tell you how much power Glenn has. We know Glenn has a lot of power, but this will really tell me that he's not even open to different types of guys. He wants his scheme, his way, his guy to run it. So, yeah, Kevin, they are. But when you have a coach who could be on the hot seat, young guys might not take that opportunity. When you look at this Jets defense and how bad it was and the 0 turnovers, I don't think many people think this is a 1-year fix. So a young up and coming guy who could get a shot as a coordinator might not want to take that Jet job because he'll never really truly get to build it because there might be regime change before then. Mother effing chew. Is Wink out of date like Wilkes? I don't think he's out of date. I think when he's with the Giants, he didn't have the corners to run the defense that he likes to run. That defense was about bringing pressure, but they couldn't cover anybody. You got Brownlee, Thomas, and Stevens. You should be able to cover. If you bring in a guy like Styles or CJ Allen in the draft and you can move Sherwood to off ball, Sherwood should do better at coverage, knowing his job is to cover the tight end or the running back. So, and then you add getting better in the safety room. I think Malachi Moore gets another year to show that what he can do. And I think you go get another safety to put next to him, and you put a nice investment into the safety, whether it's free agency or first 2 rounds of the draft. Not round one, round two would be as high as I would go. So there's a lot that needs to be overhauled on this team. We know that. You know that. That's why this fan base is so damn smart. That's why it's the best fan base in all of sports. But folks, hit the like button. Appreciate you being here with me on a Wednesday afternoon show. Super chats, $5 and up, get you on our raffle wheel. Gifted memberships do as well. I'm going to drop the call-in link while I continue blabbering here. And that. I know a lot of people are interested in Harbaugh. They're interested in Stefanski, McCarthy. I think that if you want to get a good offensive coach, I think you wait 1 year. And I think that you get a guy who can come in after you see the rookie quarterback, and then you bring in people like Caleb Williams went to the moon in year 2. Trevor Lawrence is an MVP candidate. I know he's been in the league a couple years, but you see what the coaching can do. We know Glenn's not getting fired, so we got to make the best of this. Either Angstrand and Turner get a guy that fits what they want to do, and we look light years better in year 2, or year 3, year 2 of the rookie quarterback, you go get a guy who can make him great, and then we go to the moon, baby. Boomtown. I mentioned this morning, Nick, that I like your point regarding upcoming contracts and their term being an indicator of Muji's comfort level with Glenn. You'd have to dig deep, but there will be clues. Yeah, for those of you that missed it, my take with this is a lot of us think that Glenn's on the hot seat. If you're signing guys to 3-year deals, 4-year deals, it tells me that you're in with Glenn for the future and they're going to allow him to build this. If you're doing a lot of 1 or 2-year deals and the 2-year deals are ones that you can financially get out of easily, it tells me that Muji's kind of planning like, all right, I'm not going to commit my finances to a scheme and to a coach who might not be here. It's worth keeping an eye on. I think it's one of the storylines that I'm intrigued in the offseason. Folks, hit the like button, like I said. Very important part of the process. The Williams situation. What are we talking about with Williams? I missed something in the chat. Oh, Desmond Williams. Yeah, I saw that there was a player from there was a wide receiver, I think maybe from Florida. I saw the tweet earlier pop in when I was on with Jake. They got their first commit to go to LSU. Tony, the GM, what's up, man? How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. I know you and Chaos used to do shows together, man. Hope all's well. I know you popped in a couple times when Jeremy and I would do some shows together. Coffee's so hot, I had to take the lid off. So the next coming days for the New York Jets, you heard Aaron Glenn speak about it. You heard Muji talk about it. What they're going to do is they're having their year-end meetings with players. Then they're going to self-assess. Then they're going to go through their meetings with the coaches, decide who to retain, who to move on from. And then I think you get together with your entire defensive staff and there's guys you're going to keep on your defensive staff. But when you bring in a new defensive coordinator, you're also going to have him wanting to bring his guys in. So I think if you're keeping Angstrand, you go through the offensive room and you decide who you're retaining. Like I said, London to me has got to go. If we're getting a rookie quarterback, I need a proven mind. I need a guy who's been in the room with a quarterback who's developed to be a part of this coaching staff. I am not trusting London to build our quarterback of the future. So it was nice try, but got to go. Defensively, it's going to be interesting because I think you got to decide your defensive coordinator before you decide all of his assistants. Yeah, big fella, the whole defensive staff will be overhauled. I agree. If you look at this, right, you got no interceptions. Your secondary's coach. I mean, it's the worst performance ever by a secondary in NFL history. Gotta go. You couldn't get to the pass. You couldn't get to the passer consistently with a pass rush. You gotta go. Linebackers couldn't cover. You gotta go. Like, who's there worth keeping? And that's what's gonna suck because now you're gonna bring in a whole new staff. Woody's paying guys not to be here. And now, if you get fired, if Glenn gets fired after year two, now you're firing all these coordinators and they got to get paid. So Woody's going to be cutting some checks, man. Hopefully it works out, but realistically, I don't know, man. You can't really look at this right now and and have a positive outlook. Everyone's turning to Curly Norman. Excuse me, real quick. Hey, buddy, are you okay? Sorry, boy, he just called me. Got to take the kid's call and make sure he's all right. Where are we? Sorry, Alan. Alan had a comment about exploring the Jermaine Johnson and McDonald market. I feel one will go. I agree. I agree. I think Will McDonald would be best suited as a pass rush specialist. You saw Steelers game, Browns game, Bengals game when he got his sacks. Those are games that we were in. Those are games where the other team had a pass late. That's when he was most effective. So you can look at it two ways. He doesn't fit the type of defensive end that Aaron Glenn wants. Maybe you see if there's a trade market available. Or you say, we plan on having leads. This is where his value comes out. This is where he's really going to help us. You know, I referred to him in the offseason as a Mariano Rivera. He would come in, he would be the closer. Well, in the games that we were tight, he was effective. So I'm curious to see how that plays out on film. I'm curious to see how Glenn and the new DC evaluate him. I think Jermaine Johnson would be best suited as a number two pass rusher, as that guy who has that high motor, can play the run, can be an every down player. I think in year two, we'll see him off of the Achilles injury, be more effective, be more efficient, have a higher motor, be a little quicker. But shout out to him for making it through the entire season. And now the build can happen, right? Like the first year after that injury, there's got to be that doubt in your head of, I hope I stay healthy, you know. Now get to the best that you can be because you're in your fifth year option. The Jets picked that up. You're a free agent to be. This is where Jermaine really needs to have a dominant year. And I hope he does. I love Jermaine. I love him as a leader. You guys know the in 24, the Christmas Eve game against Washington, he came over, signed Nick's jersey for him. He signed a Nike, his headband as his rookie year and Nick's baseball hat. So Nick's got 3 items signed by Jermaine Johnson. I hope to God that he stays here long term. Yeah. It's coaching. Well, do your fucking job. Simple. Curly, I agree with this comment. They have been. But I think that when you have Muji and Glenn in sync together, you're running it the right way. The results are ass, 100%. But you tried to win early on. It didn't work out. You went to ownership and said, listen, we're going to trade these guys. We're going to build this. That this is not a team capable of winning right now. We're 0-6. We're 0-7. We got to move on from this. And we can sell these assets off now in their prime and get premium return to build this the right way and to build it our way. Now we just have to hope it gets built the right way. You know, there's no half-assing it. They completely did a tear down and new build. It's not a rebuild. It's brand new property, It's flat open area. It's a brand new build. This is not a rebuild. This is not a restructure. This was let the shit hit the goddamn ground, flatten it out, and start building it the right way. Yes. But that's why he's not a number one edge rusher. That's why he's not your guy. He could be a very good number two. He can be a guy that if you put another big defensive tackle next to him and Briggs, and you can collapse that pocket with Briggs and someone better than Briggs, holy shit. Now you're looking at a pass rush again. Yeah. Big fella. He'll be here for this year. I believe he'll be here for this year. And I think that in a contract year, you're going to get the best from Jermaine. And he's going to look quicker than he's ever been. What would Arizona give up for a number two? I don't know. I think Simpson is the ideal pick for Arizona. You go with Murray one more year, you bring Simpson in. I think that's a place that Simpson could fall. Well, it's not a rebuild when you're completely, a rebuild is we just need to retool. A rebuild is we have a lot of nice pieces here. We just got to change a couple things. That's a rebuild, right? When you remodel your home, you add an addition, you make it better. We don't even have anything in place. We have two offensive tackles. That's it. We got a right guard. We got a wide receiver that Jets fans think is a number one, but he's clearly meant to be a number two, in my opinion. We got to stop overrating our players. We've called Brees Hall a top 5 running back. He's never been anywhere near that. I'm guilty of it as well. I'm not finger pointing. Big fella. A rebuild is trading Garrett this offseason. Let me ask that question. Kansas City Chiefs call. They offer number 9 and a 3. You moving Garrett Wilson? A 1 this year, a 3 next year that can bump up to a number 2 based on his performance. You move Garrett Wilson? Bye. Listen, I like Garrett. But if you're giving me a number 9 overall, I would do it. I would do it. Fred agrees. Yeah. Barney, sure. Yeah. Hold on. Yes, Wild Wave. But when the Colts made that trade, they had the best record in football, and nobody thought it would be a top pick. That's why you give 2. If you're going to give a top 10 pick that's guaranteed to be a top 10 pick, that carries a lot more weight than the projected 32nd pick when the trade was made. So that factors in because now you're trading the known entity of a number 9 overall pick. That's the difference. Listen, I don't want to move him, but if that offer comes in, yes. 100%. Again, I love Garrett. I love Garrett the person. I love his competitive spirit. I love everything about Garrett. However, we have so many needs that I'm okay with keeping that 30 million and building this roster elsewhere. I don't want to do it, but the compensation of a top 10 pick, I would be like, yeah, okay. Now we got 2, we got 9, we got 16. You would go Mendoza, hopefully Falk, defensive end, and Sonny Styles. Or you could take a receiver right there to replace Garrett Wilson. But if you go Mendoza, Falk, Styles, I'm ecstatic. I want to build an elite front 7. If I gotta slow down my progress on offense a little bit to get that elite front 7, I'll do it because in year 2, you got Williams coming out of Alabama. You got Smith coming out of Ohio State. You have Simmons, the defensive end, coming out of Texas. You have so many options to get elite talent and build around Mendoza and solidify this front seven in year 2. I'm okay. I think 27 is the year that you really see the Jets make a massive leap. And right now, it's about building blocks. Get your defensive tackles, get your center, get your middle linebacker, build the middle of your team, finish your offensive line, whether it's an upgrade from Myers or solidifying left guard for the future. Get your trenches right, get your defensive line right again, get your middle linebacker to be there for the future, and then start to spread out. You can't win in the NFL if you don't win at the line of scrimmage. And we lost so many games because we didn't have a fucking shot on the defensive line. We didn't have the talent. We didn't have the depth. We don't win one-on-ones. There's no one that needs to be doubled. We don't scare anybody. Quarterbacks have time, 3.5 seconds. Now, when you have a good quarterback, unlike the Jets, when you hold the ball for 3.5 seconds, multiple guys are wide open. We didn't have that. So get to the goddamn quarterback. Build a dominant, or nowadays it's a front 6 because you don't play 3 linebackers really anymore. Listen, we have a lot of needs. If we draft the middle linebacker, it's not wrong. If we draft a safety, it's not wrong. If we draft a defensive tackle, it's not wrong. We draft another wide receiver, it's not wrong. We just need premium talent everywhere. We draft an edge, it's not wrong. Premium talent needs to get added to this roster because there were so many games where we were outmatched. Paige from Harlem says, get Lemon. Lemon might be the only guy that I take over Sonny Styles at 16. I don't know if Lemon will make 16. I think Lemon is the perfect Kansas City Chief at number 9. I think that's what they need. I think he fits that style. And they've tried. They've drafted Worthy. They drafted Rice. They went for Scantling again. They brought in Schuster. They brought in Hollywood Brown. They've been trying to get the right guy for Mahomes. They've been trying to replace Hill since he left. Lemon is perfect for Kansas City, in my opinion. He's a good route runner. He'll block in the run game. But if Lemon's there at 16, right now, that's the only guy that I would be okay with not saying Sonny Styles' name. If both are available, oh, man. That'd be tough. Curly, you don't think that we were outmatched on our defensive line? You don't think that we were outmatched with Quincy Williams in coverage? You don't think we were outmatched because our secondary couldn't get a goddamn interception? You don't think we're outmatched with our safeties not being able to tackle? You don't think that we were outmatched in a lot of games? Interesting. I disagree. You don't think we were outmatched because we had poor quarterback play and we didn't have quarterbacks who can read the scheme, read, react, and release on time, in rhythm? Well, now, Curly, you're changing your statement. You said that we were, where is it? I want to quote you. You said we were outcoached, not outmatched. And then you say Glenn picked the guys. Okay. So that's still their performance. I think with a better pass rush, you'll get turnovers. I think we couldn't get near the quarterback a lot. And then the leads got bad. And then the teams just took it easy. Fields was able to do it last year. What happened? In the beginning of the year, we had Josh Reynolds as our number 2 wide receiver and Ty Johnson as our number 3. Not really scary to anybody in the NFL world. When Mitchell and Mechie came in, that's when Garrett got hurt. We never got to see them all together. Who's scared by this receiving core? Mitchell had a nice play or two. Mechie had one nice game. Who the fuck was scared by this wide receiver core? That's what happened. We had no viable threats. We don't have an NFL receiving core. Garrett Wilson got hurt. We were in games early in the year. Cincinnati game we won. We were in the Denver game as poor as Fields played. We were in that game. Tampa Bay game, we were in. We were in it late. Pittsburgh game, we were in. And then we weren't good enough to sustain injuries. So this roster, yes, this roster is expansion level. Why was our win total 6? I'll tell you why. Because when you have the presentation of a former all-pro linebacker in Quincy Williams, an all-pro in Sauce, an all-pro in Quinnen Williams, a double-digit sack guy in Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson coming back, Sherwood was top in the league in tackles. You had the presentation of a defense that could dominate. When you have Justin Fields' mobility and you had the investments in the offensive line, I think people said this team can run the ball. And the same thing I said, maybe you design a scheme where Justin Fields can pass and Justin Fields can succeed. It just didn't come together. It had to be a perfect storm. And then Garrett gets hurt. And then Braylon Allen gets hurt. And then Wilson gets hurt. And then you trade Quinnen. And then you trade Sauce. And then everyone else is getting exposed because when you don't have premium talent that draws attention and keeps coordinators up at night, you're a fucking disaster. You are a disaster of a team when you don't have anyone that you have to scheme away from. Who are you scheming away from on the Jet defense? Hey, watch out for Briggs. Other than that, just run the shit. Everyone will be open. That's why. Barney Miller, Dan Marino did well with 2 small wide receivers. Different time, but still, with the right QB, who knows? Yeah, and I think nowadays, Barney, it's more about getting guys that fit your scheme because back then, you could outrun people. Safeties were methodical monsters. They weren't track stars. They were big, bruising type safeties that weren't great. They came downhill and they punished people. You can get over the top on that. That's why play action was so effective back in the 80s. And you can get deep with sprinters, like Walker and Toon, with Duper and Clayton. You can get downfield easily when you had that elite speed. But nowadays, everyone on the back end can run. It's more scheme specific and having guys who can run the route tree and timing. But I get what you're saying. Folks, we got 66 of you here watching. Thank you for spending part of your afternoon with me. Make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, folks. Very big. Let's see. We are at 1973. 1973. We're moving on up. Looking to get to 2K. Big fellow likes Boston or Brazil. Yeah, I asked Dom C Sunday night about Boston, and he said that he doesn't really get separation. He makes a lot of contested catches, but if he's not getting separation at the college level, it's even going to be more difficult for him in the NFL. So Dom wasn't too big on him. I like the size, the 6'4" guy to put next to or opposite of Garrett Wilson. I am that old school football guy that there's no reason I can't do a 3-step drop and put a slant on a big bodied wide receiver on 3rd and 6, get the first down when he falls forward, even in tight coverage. Keyshawn Johnson, Brandon Marshall, Braylon Edwards, big bodied receivers that you could just throw a slant on at any given time to get some yardage. If you like the look that you get on first down, you check to it and just put a quick slant on the guy and get some easy yardage. They miss a tackle, now you get a big gain out of it. I don't want to throw bubble screens to Garrett Wilson, who fucking can't break tackles. I want a big-bodied receiver that we can utilize like that. I know you have big fella. For those of you who don't know, big fella's big son goes to Tennessee, and he's a big Tennessee fan. So he's got a love for those players. Folks, call lines are open. I got about 20 minutes before I got to go to work. So if you got a take you want to share, feel free, call in, let your voice be heard. Shout out to me for not putting on commercials for this episode. So my gift to you, you don't have to skip any ads. JD says big body receivers draw penalties. This is true. This is true. They do. You know, when you get that guy, that especially with cornerbacks and how handsy they get, they'll try to pull the arm down, they'll try to tug the hip, they'll try to regain the leverage that they lost because of the size of the wide receiver. So you're 100% right with that. Good point. Ladies and gentlemen, one of my dear friends.
Hey.
Oh,
What's going on, brother?
how are you, sir? How you feeling?
Feeling good, man. Feeling better, feeling strong, man. Getting ready about to head up to PT. But I was hearing, man, and I wanted to ask you something real quick. So we pretty much know, like, we have to get a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
And with that being said itself, would you do the whole, like, Redskins scenario in the sense
Change
of,
our
like,
names? No.
RG3? No. RG3 and then, like, a Kirk Cousins in the later rounds?
You
right?
missed the
So
joke. You said, would you do the Redskins scenario? And I go, change our name? No.
yeah, no, please don't.
Oh, double dip? Let me see free agency first.
Got it.
Because
But
if we
e-
get
even
two
in-
vets, like say we retain Taylor and we bring someone else in, no, there's no reason to, right? But
Mhm.
if we get one veteran, I have no issue with it. I have no issue with taking a flyer on a guy in round 4, or we're expected to have multiple 5s. Where are we here?
and that's the sweet spot because supposedly, your Drew Aller is falling there, and if he's there, I mean, do you take a
I don't
swing
want
at
to do it at 103, John. We have too many needs to do it at 103. But if
I
you
was
look
saying
in
in
the
the fifth.
170s and you look at those picks later on, I have absolutely zero issue with adding a second guy. Like we need it. We need to take the chance, and like you said, Kirk Cousins had the better career than RG3, and RG3 was the top pick, and Cousins went in the 3rd round.
Correct.
So it was
Exactly.
laughed and ridiculed at the time, but it looked good.
I mean, like, what if Trinidad comes out? Where would he be essentially to go, right? And I think we can't know that until the whole playoffs and the natty is pretty much done. If he doesn't go back, I mean, is that a guy you take a swing on as well?
Not for me, no. I've been pretty vocal about this.
Correct.
I think he played a great college football game the other day. I do. And I'm not going to knock him because I'm a Georgia fan, as you are as well. We've discussed this
Same.
through text throughout the game and then after. I'm not going to knock him. But in terms of being an NFL prospect, 6'1's too small, leaves the pocket too soon, scrambled around, played like a Johnny Manziel, like just running around. Now, you can make those plays in college, and you can do the loop around. Ask Zach Wilson how doing the loop-de-loo worked in the NFL. You
They
get
did it.
caught. So I don't see a guy like this. I want a killer from the pocket. I want a guy that could just stand in the pocket and beat you. And if you allow him to make the throws, you're going to regret it. I didn't see that.
I have to say that there's something with him, man. Like, he's had a pretty good year from just starting within the 3rd game itself. I mean, he almost had 4,000 yards.
Yep.
The interception ratio from touchdown to that is really good. It's if he's there, like, now I don't know where he's supposed to get drafted at, but if he's in the 5th, it's not a conversation to be talked about.
A lot of people
Patty, but
do
it's
still
not
go
for
back to
sure.
school because he I think he wants to enter the portal, and from what I read, he needs Ole Miss to sign a waiver for him to then to go. So either he's going to stay at Ole Miss for 1 year, or he's going to portal to LSU.
Correct. So, and look, I've been telling you, I like Charlie Wise, bro. Like Charlie Wise Jr. And
Yeah.
you and I talked about it before.
Yeah,
It's another conversation to talk
called a
about.
great game. Hats off to him, man. Called a great game against a very good NFL talent loaded Georgia defense.
So I don't know. I wanted to ask you that. Like, would you do that? Because I mean, we don't know if we're gonna get Tyrod Taylor. We have no idea if he's gonna come back, right? I mean, everybody's saying Justin Fields is essentially gone. So why not take a double dip and then still get a vet on there? So that's something that I would potentially want to look at, maybe. But I don't know. I just want to get your thoughts, man. Keep killing it, bro. You've been killing it, man. I'm glad that I love when you get on around this time, man. So, but I gotta head out, man. So I appreciate you, brother.
Feel better, man.
Peace, dude.
Keep healing. Good points too, Johnny. Thank you, guys. If you haven't already, go over Jets Worldwide, Johnny and Snowball. They do shows on Friday night. Go show them some support. Listen, I mean, you keep taking quarterbacks until you get the quarterback, right? So I'm not going to rule anything out. You know, even Muji said we're going to exhaust every avenue, every option, whether it's free agency, trade, draft, whatever it may be. You know, and you never know when you're going to hit. You never know when you get the right guy in the right scheme with the right coach at the right time. Sam Darnold hit years in. Baker Mayfield took off years in. Rich Gannon went all pro in his 30s. You know, there's guys who just sometimes it takes the right scheme with the right teacher and the right talent around you to click. So I'm not ruling anything out. Would I love Mendoza to be the quarterback of the Jets? 100%. Is that the only option for the Jets? No, it's not. So I have to be open to that. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have a vandal. We have a thief in the night.
Can you guys hear me?
What up, Max?
Let's talk about the Jets. So John Harbaugh's on the coaching market. So the Jets need to fire Aaron Glenn. We need to hire John Harbaugh. We got to give John Harbaugh an interview, honestly. With the Ravens, he took the Ravens multiple years in the playoffs. You know, he could be the stabilizer for just like the Knicks with Tom Thibodeau. You know, I don't know if Woody Johnson will do it. He'll probably give another hug to Woody Johnson this morning. But I hope Woody Johnson actually has the balls. He fires Aaron Glenn this afternoon, and then he gives a call to John Harbaugh.
You got a timeline on it this afternoon?
Yeah, this afternoon, 2:00 in the afternoon. He fires Aaron Glenn, and then he calls in John Harbaugh for an interview. Gives him whatever money he wants. Pay him the highest coach in the NFL. We hire John Harbaugh. This team we turn around. If Muji wants to stay, he can stay. But if Harbaugh wants to, maybe we should fire Darren Muji. Do whatever it takes to get John Harbaugh in this building. Because honestly, if John Harbaugh's on this team, he could turn around this Jets team.
All right. So by 2:00, you have 30 minutes left in Aaron Glenn's coaching regime with the Jets.
If I was Woody Johnson, I would fire Aaron Glenn right now, and I would call up John Harbaugh for an interview, and then pay him whatever he wants. Honestly, pay him the highest coaching contract if you can.
All right, Max. Strong take. I like it.
I know. Hopefully, you got John
All right,
Harbaugh.
everyone, set your alarms for 2:00. Make sure you're monitoring Twitter, Bleacher Report, or wherever you get your sports information. Max says 30 minutes from now and counting, it's over for Aaron Glenn.
But that's if I'm Woody Johnson. Let's see Woody Johnson has the balls because as Woody says, thinking is overrated.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
Shout out to Max. Max adamant today. Get rid of him. Next up, we got my buddy from Florida. What's up, Ted?
Mr. Nick Shine, how are you?
I'm well, man.
Good
How about
to see
yourself?
Doing great. Good to see Johnny Boy. He's looking much healthier.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, Johnny.
Absolutely.
Hoping to meet up with you soon at some point in person. Hey Nick,
right. Ted showing some love for Johnny. Maybe the internet connection was bad down in Florida. He's out on the road. But Ted, if you get a better connection, call back. Sometimes you misclick on StreamYard and you swipe away. I've had that done to me when I call on the shows. Did you do the accidental swipe and cleared it?
No, actually, my call literally dropped when I passed the school over here. I don't know what happened. Maybe that's just one of those things.
Gotcha.
I was just thinking, like, say, Bo Nix was what, quarterback 6 or quarterback 5, and I'm not saying Muji was the mastermind behind that pick, but if Moore comes out and we don't love him, what kind of haul? Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
What kind of
We
haul?
wish Johnny
can we
well.
get?
Get the fuck out.
That's funny. What kind of haul, say from Cleveland, right? I mean, they have 2 first-round picks, and I know the one they have from Jacksonville is very late, but from, say, Cleveland loves Moore, and we're willing to just say, hey, we'll take Malik Willis, maybe take a Nessmeyer, or look to next year. What kind of picks can we get to just drop to 5? Because we're still going to get an elite player.
Yeah, the Giants are at 5. Cleveland's at 6.
Oh, 6 rather.
According
Sorry.
to Tankathon.
Yep, 6. We might be able to get their first next year's one also, which may be a top 10 pick too.
I don't think we're moving, Ted. I think that
No.
they did everything to get to this position, to get a quarterback. If worst case scenario, Moore and Mendoza both decide they're going back to school, which they do have the option. Okay,
Right.
then we got to reassess, right? But I don't think that's the case. I think they both declare. And I don't think that the Jets played Brady Cook for 4 or 5 weeks to then trade back. I think this was all to get up to get the quarterback. I think this was the plan. When 0-7 hit, all right, we're going to trade assets. We're going to go get a quarterback. We're going to do our best to get up in the top of the draft. They won a game against Cleveland. They probably didn't think they'd win because 2 special teams touchdowns. That essentially cost us the number 1 overall pick. But you can't look at this team the last several weeks and say that they were trying to win.
No, I agree. I'm just
think
thinking
now they're going to bounce back. If you're a team that has your quarterback in place, and say your quarterback gets injured, and then you fall into the top couple picks, right, because of bad luck, then you say, yeah, you know what, we're going to build around. We got our quarterback. We're going to bounce back. But if Moore and Mendoza both declare, there's no way that the Jets move. Normally, I love that. If you have a quarterback in place, I love trading back. But no, this was done with intent to get up here.
Yeah, but maybe get up there for Mendoza specifically as they scouted him. I'm not just wondering if I mean, maybe they're not quite convinced on Moore being the number 2 because you don't have him high. There's a lot of people that love him. I'm just thinking outside the box a little. I understand that we tanked for a reason to move up for a quarterback, but I'm just thinking, with the I hate to say it, with the 2027 draft picks that are out there, like the guy from Texas and some of these other players that'll come out next year. I would love to build our defense. Our defense is just a sieve, Nick. You know that.
Yeah.
I love the guy from Texas Tech. If we could get him in the top 5, I don't know if he's the number 2 pick in the draft. I mean, say we don't take a quarterback. Yes.
The defensive end, Bailey. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he
talked to
remind-
Dom about him over the weekend or New Year's Day when they were playing. And he said he reminds him of Will McDonald 2.0. Like, he's a pass rusher, not great against the run. Although he did play well against the run in the bowl game, his film up to date was not a very good run defender. Like me, if it's not, say one quarterback comes out, I'm looking at Bain, I'm looking at Reese at off-ball, I'm looking at Falk, defensive end from Auburn. So those are the guys that I'm looking at. Bailey's a little bit lower down because I think Glenn wants to build a bigger, more physical front. And I think Falk fits that. He's like 6'6", 275. Bailey's like 250. There's guys in the second round too from let me see their names. Hold on. David Bailey's small. Mason Thomas from Oklahoma is small. You know, I don't think those are guys that I think Cassius Howell is small. You know, even Bain, if for a guy who they say with short arms is going to play inside more, he's 275. Like to move him inside, I don't want to take the chance on that. If it's not a quarterback, like I prefer Falk. I know he's rated a little lower, but I think he fits the Jets' ideology on defense. Or if it's Arvell Reese, take a guy who's an elite athlete and can get to the quarterback from anywhere at any time.
Well, if we do the quarterback, I agree with you, Nick. But if we do grab the quarterback, maybe we double down and get a number one or two receiver next to him to grow with him. You know, with the Colts.
In that 16 spot, if Tate, Tyson, and Lemon are gone, I'm not reaching for a receiver. I'm going to build it. I'm going to build it right. I'm not going to reach because we have so many assets the next 2 years. I'm not going to reach. I don't have to reach. Give me the best player. Get the quarterback. Give me the best player available. Like I said earlier, if you go middle linebacker, you're not wrong. D tackle, you're not wrong. DN, you're not wrong. Another receiver, you're not wrong. Just don't reach. Stay true to your board. Get the quarterback. Stay true to your board because you just need talent everywhere.
I agree. Nick, I'm going to hang up on you. I'm going to hang up on you now because my call's going to drop anyway. Bye.
I'm going to say goodbye first. Goodbye, Ted. Good call by Ted. Next up, he's outside. He's cold. It's Peter Fred.
Hello. It is quite cold here.
You look it. I saw you in the back. You look it. How you been?
Pretty good. I do want to make a prediction though.
Shoot.
If Moore and Mendoza both declare, Mendoza's a Jet and Moore is a Raider.
Mendoza is a Jet, Moore is a Raider. I'm fine.
Yes.
I'm good with that. I really believe if you structure things for Mendoza, he can be an elite quarterback. He can do everything to help you win. He might not lead the league in statistics, but I think he'll be a winner. And I want a winner. I don't want a guy who's gonna pad stats. I don't want a guy who's got flash. I want the substance. And I think if you structure it right and you have your line and you have weapons, you can play within the system. Mendoza, the thing that's my favorite trait about him, Fred, he takes what you give him. And if he's smart. He doesn't force shit. He doesn't try to be bigger than the game plan. He doesn't try to make it about him. He plays it not safe, but he knows where to go with the ball. He reads the defense. He gets the ball. He throws with anticipation. He does so many things well that if you build a good system and you have the right pieces, he will do very well in the NFL. I don't see him throwing for 5,000 yards, but you don't need to.
Yeah, but I could see him throw for 4,000 yards, for instance. Plus also, I think quarterback statistics overall, when you look at it, are sort of overrated. You look at Joe Burrow and the stats he's been putting up in Cincinnati. What for? To miss the playoffs 2 seasons in a row. I mean, shit. Like, So yeah, I agree with you. I think we all want to win, and ideally, it will be fun to watch while we win, right?
Yeah.
And I think Mendoza can give us that. We've seen him in college. He's a fun quarterback to watch in college.
Yeah.
He's not
he's
fun
a great leader. I think he's the perfect personality to come to New York. I think he knows who he is. He's confident in that, but he doesn't try to go and take over. He's not going to try to take New York over. I think it'll just happen naturally. He's got that goofy, dorky Eli Manning, right? That's why Eli worked with Giants, because he wasn't that big, brash persona. I think that Mendoza is so fucking dorky, and I say that with a compliment. I think it's a great trait to have coming here.
I agree.
Because the media won't go at you. The fan base won't go at you. They'll be patient with you. Comment I want to get to. Matthew says, my statement contradicts itself. I don't think you can be the elite QB without leading the league in something passing-wise. You can be an elite winner. Big Ben won Super Bowls without being an elite passer. Tom Brady won his first 3 Super Bowls without being an elite passer. But you can be elite at the right time. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls with being clutch. Clutch isn't a stat that you get with passing touchdowns or QBR. You can be a middle of the pack passer and play on a great team. And I think the goal with all this talent is to make the entire team great, not look for one player to save the team. And I think the Jets have done that. The Jets fans have done that. We anoint the next guy. He's going to save the Jets. He's the savior. With all of these assets and all of this money, we got to save ourselves as an organization. We got to make the whole fucking team better. We can't look to one guy to carry us. That's been the problem. Look at Sam Darnold had. There was no one there for Sam to carry. They were all fucking dead weight. Zach Wilson had a lot of dead weight on top of sucking. So I think if you have the right team and you have that dominant line and you have that run pass option and you can lean on the run game and you can make the passing favorable and efficient for the quarterback, you can really do some nice things in this league.
I mean, here's what I think. I don't think, he'll particularly lead stats, but I think he'll be up there for sure. I think he'll be constantly in that top 5 area, right? I think that's where he can be. And you look at Big Ben, to be fair, he did actually lead the league in passing once, I believe. He had over 5,000 yards.
But that was with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, and they weren't getting to the Super Bowl anymore. When they relied on Ben to throw so much, they stopped getting to the Super Bowl.
Yep. So yeah, I agree that we want an elite winner, and again, I mean, you look at Mendoza. I don't think he's going to be a mid quarterback. I think he's going to be a good quarterback. I think he's going to be in that top 5 statistical range when you give him, pieces around him.
I hope. I really hope. And I think that Mendoza should sit a little bit, but I think Mendoza will be ready to play year 1. I think Moore will have to sit a full year. And I don't think Jets fans would accept that. And I think they would be out with pitchforks. Why did you draft a guy that's not ready to play? Because even though the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, we started Sam right away, didn't work out. We started Zach right away, didn't work out. If you're going to draft a guy like Moore, who's 20 years old and doesn't have more than 20 starts, you're going to have to sit him. And fans might not be ready for that. So that's why I think Mendoza, who's got more experience, would be a better fit for us, short and long term.
Because with Mendoza, the thing is, it would be good if we could sit him, right? But it wouldn't be a disaster if we didn't sit him. I think that's the point.
Yeah. Yeah. He will look the part sooner.
Exactly.
And I think more would have flashier plays and less substance. And I think Mendoza would have less flash, more substance. And I'm one that wants substance for my quarterback. I want you to be able to read and process the defense right away. I want you to be able to get the ball out on time. I want you to do things that show that you belong. And then the things that you don't do well, we can coach up and we can add to.
Yeah.
I appreciate you calling in. I got to get ready to head to work myself.
Yep.
Get back indoors, bro. Get inside.
You have a good one, man.
Later, pal. You too. Couple comments to get to in the chat. Rusty Spooner. Eli won Super Bowls because of his defense. Let's be real. Eli won Super Bowls also because he was clutch. And he had 2 of the biggest drives in Super Bowl history. Yes, there was the one crazy helmet catch. But Eli was clutch. He didn't carry the team to the Super Bowl, but he was the best player on the field in the moments that he needed to be. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, our buddy Knobcraft, Jets fans are dopes. Appreciate you, Knob. We are. We love this team. We want this team to be great. But I appreciate you guys. Last chance. Super chats, $5 and up, get you on the raffle wheel for the Joe Namath prize going out Super Bowl Sunday. Gifted memberships. Our memberships have fallen off, folks. We need to build the community back up. I will kick us off. I will gift one. Will, does thou join me? Waiting for that to go through. And mine went to Dick Chimney's Burner. Shout out to Mr. Dick. The Dick that burns. Barney Miller's in the raffle. Jets fans are dope. Oh, he switched it around a little bit. Jets fans are dope, not dopes. Well done, Barney. Well done. He said, take that, Knobcraft. Drop the S. David D, one of our resident Detroit Lions fans, just gifted 5. David, awesome. Thank you, buddy. They went to JD Surf City, who's here. Red John, Cap 10 Condor, Vic Cortez, and KG 131. Thank you, David. I appreciate you. You are the man. Hope you're doing well. And good luck rebuilding the Lions. You got a lot of nice pieces in place. I know it was a down year. You lost both your coordinators, but you know that I've said many times to you, I root for the Lions in the NFC. They've been on a parallel with the Jets for so many years, and it's fun watching that fan base get to enjoy and have the home playoff game. So you'll get back there. You'll get back there. I have faith. They got too many good pieces to not be competitive going into the future. But folks, it's that time. Where is it?
Now let's go to What Did We Learn Today, courtesy of Nick Shine.
Drop your What Did We Learns. What we do here at the end of the show, you give a little recap. What did you learn? Maybe it was a comment that I made. Maybe it was something somebody in the chat said, something you learned on the internet. What did you learn? What did you take out of this episode of the Nick Shine Show? Hell yeah. Homeboy Dre in. He gifted a membership that went to Luppy. Look at Dre spreading the love to the Lup man. Thank you, Dre. Appreciate you, bro. Hope you're doing well, Shaq. He looked like Shaquille O'Neal. For those of you that missed the Addy show, Mikey Midnight labeled Dre that he looked like Shaq. All right. Barney Miller. I learned that maybe Mendoza's dorky middle America personality might be a plus, not a minus. Agreed. I think that anyone who tries to come to New York and take over New York gets spit up and chewed out. Chewed up and spit out. All right, I'm allowed to fuck up once in a while when you talk this much. I know Boomtown is typing up something whimsical about that right now. Ryan says the Jets need more picks. Trading back if Mendoza isn't available is a smart move. Yeah, it depends to where and for who. If there's only more Mendoza available and one goes back, I'm all options, man. Everything should be exhausted at that point. If only one of them declares, then yeah, I'm not against anything at that point. David says, thanks again. Oh, Dave, thank you, buddy. Finishing with a win over the Bears should help the Lions moving forward. It's worth more than a somewhat higher draft pick. That's fair. What do we do at 2 if Moore stays? I think immediately you look at Arvell Reese, Bain, Falk, trading out. I think you would transition to defense and build the best possible defense you can. Get your trenches set. Make sure in free agency you have. I'm not reaching for Simpson at 2. No fucking way. So I would transition to defense. But last one, Knob. I learned that Jets fans would rather scream like irrational women than have any sense of decorum. When did I scream? Rusty, I learned the red fire trucks are red. Nice, Rusty. Make sure you don't chew too many crayons. Knob, I learned that some Jets fans would rather sound like knuckle-dragging my eyes just got blurry. Troglodytes than human beings. All right. Yeah, Surf City, I'm not either. But I just think that the talent is there. I got to see what type of scheme we put in place. But I mean, if you decide to move on from Sherwood and you go Reese and Styles, I'm okay with that. Bane is a reach at 2. Yeah, and doesn't necessarily have to be a 2 if we move back. I learned that Jets fans are so traumatized by 25 and past seasons that they are filled with rage, sad times. Fans need to start healing. And they will, right? It's a cycle as a Jet fan. Get hyped up, season starts, season goes to shit, get enraged, want everyone fired. Off season starts, pour all your rage out, hit the reset button. Combine will be here, free agency will be here, draft will be here, excitement will build, so on and so forth. Troglodytes are lizard people. Thank you. Yeah, I had no fucking idea what that was, but I'm sure you've done tattoos of those. That's which would probably look really fucking dope, especially with you doing it. There you go. Chris B learned about. Raise your hand if you're with me and Chris. Yeah, the portal is crazy and it's the worst thing for sports. But ladies and gentlemen, if you are a member of the channel, it's that time. Go hit the what did we learn emoji. Kick it up to Boomtown. And Boomtown, please, if you would, drop it like it's hot. I got to get dressed. I got to get out the door for work. I am in hour 38 of a fast right now. Hour 38. I ate Monday night. I might be banned from the Taco Bell in town. I go in there and they have a AI drive-through order. And I go to make my order. And I was like, oh, can I get a chicken quesadilla? I go, add sour cream. And then I see it says plus 50 cents for sour cream. I'm like, no, I don't need the sour cream. And the computer's like, I do not understand what you were saying. I'm like, no, cancel the sour cream. Like, I don't know what that order is. I go, bitch, cancel the fucking sour cream. And the guy comes on and goes, dude, what the hell? I go, well, if you were there listening the whole time, why am I talking to a robot? You make the fucking order. Yeah, probably not going back there for a while after that outburst. But then after I ate the Taco Bell, I was like, fuck this. I'm going to fast. This is my sign not to eat for a while. Boomtown learned the boogie woogie may still be a popular dance. Peter Pins is Nick's MVPP. Nick's phone security runs a tight ship with incoming calls. Everyone is turning into Curly Norman. Bonus, the Nick Shine Show is commercial free today. Mad Max works with tight deadlines. Some believe Dre looks like Shaq. Speaking of Dre, member of the channel for 16 months. Thank you, Dre. Appreciate you. I learned that this community is the greatest GI Jets. Go Jets. I learned that this community is the greatest. Go Jets. I think I translated that perfectly. I'd be shocked if he says I was wrong. Eli, I learned Nick Shine should start ordering his Taco Bell from the app. You get better prices. Well, I didn't plan on Taco Bell. I was on the phone on the way home Monday night. And I'm like, man, I'm hungry. I didn't really eat today. And then like 10 seconds later, I'm passing Taco Bell. And I'm like, all right, let me call you back. I pull in, I make my order, I deal with that. I call her back, and she's like, what drive-thru did you pull into? I was like, Taco Bell. I'm like, damn, she knows me so well. So it wasn't planned. Nope, Brian, they canceled the sour cream. I saved 50 cents because I had the squeeze bottle at home. All right, 1:55. I got to go. Time for work. Everyone, have a great day. Go Jets. Love you guys. Keep an eye out for shows tomorrow night. Friday night, doubtful because I got basketball games Saturday morning. But could be Saturday night. Sunday, I'll be here. Dylan Terman will join me. We have a good show lined up for you. Hope you guys enjoy it. Spread the word. Subscribe to the channel. Let's get to 2,000. Baby. Everyone, no song on the way out. It's time to get